Now, breaking news from NBC4.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for this breaking news update. I'm Darlene Hill.
And I'm Brad Johansson. Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther holding a news conference about the recent increase in violence over the weekend. Let's listen in.
What's our order? You're just kicking us off?
Yep, and I'll introduce you.
Okay.
And then you'll introduce the chief.
Chief, okay.
Of course, we see the mayor there and a couple of other city officials talking about the increase in violence, getting ready to talk to us about the shootings that occurred here in Columbus this weekend. An alarming increase for what is usually a pretty quiet weekend, but this past weekend, there were 8 shootings, 3 of them fatal here in the Columbus area.
And this amidst rising coronavirus numbers that complicate matters outside as well. Another 1,261 cases released today, another 6 deaths, another 73 hospitalizations, and all of this amidst the worry of enough hospital beds and enough people to be able to take care of those. And then you add this increase in violence over the weekend and it complicates matters. The mayor obviously preparing to address those, and probably
but he's going to talk about his Safe Streets program, and they're also talking about how many police officers they have out there on bicycles, out on foot, trying to, of course, curb some of this violence. They're getting ready to get started out there. Let's take a listen.
In case you don't know it, I'm Ned Pettis Jr., Director of Columbus Public Safety, and I was born and raised in Columbus, Ohio. These are the streets that I grew up on. These streets and the people of this neighborhood helped form and shape me into a young man and a future leader. So it's devastating to me that young people living in the neighborhood I called home may not live to get the same opportunities that I did. The amount of violence and bloodshed we saw this weekend is unacceptable and must stop. But we can't do it alone. This is not a crisis that we can police our way out of. It takes all of us to stand together and say, no more. Not on my block, not on my streets, and not in my neighborhood. I ask for your help and your support in taking that stand. Stand with us to keep our streets and our families safe. And so with that, it is my honor and privilege to introduce our Honorable Mayor Andrew J. Ginther. Mayor.
Thanks. Thank you, Director, and to Stephanie Hightower, Director Pettis, Chief Quinlan, Chris Sewell, Paul Rakowski, Pastor Michael Young, who's joined us today. Families are hurting. Communities are hurting. We are hurting. 8 shootings this weekend. 10 people shot. 3 people are dead. All under the age of 26. One of them, 15 years old. So I'm not talking to you today as your mayor. I'm talking to you as a dad. And to see what we're seeing in our streets, it isn't unique to Columbus. We know that shootings and violence are up around the country, but I'm not, and you and I aren't responsible for communities around the country. We're responsible for this community, for our neighbors in the neighborhoods in Columbus. Recent weeks, we've seen 4 other children under the age of 18 killed by gun violence. And the shooters were also young people, 15, 16, 18 years old. These are not numbers. These are not stories on the media. These are our sons and daughters, our moms and dads, our neighbors, and they are never coming home again. We must come together for solutions to stop the violence in our neighborhoods. Let me be clear. This is not a police problem. It's not just a parent's problem. And it's not just a Linden or Southside or Hilltop problem. This problem belongs to each and every one of us, and we must bring all our resources together to address it and what is happening in our communities. In a few minutes, you'll hear from other city departments and other community leaders, some of our great partners, about what we're doing citywide to stop the violence. Back in 2017, I formed a comprehensive neighborhood safety strategy to address crime differently, more holistically. Proven safety strategies, as well as involvement from public health, neighborhoods, recreation and parks, businesses, community, and faith leaders. Out of that came the Safe Streets program that Chief Quinlan will talk about in a moment. The CARE Coalition that provides trauma-informed care to communities who have experienced violence. The Violent Crime Review Group connects many departments together in a coordinated effort to review and address crime in our areas around the city. Physical deterrence to crime through the Department of Neighborhoods, street lights, lighting in alleys, porch lights, addressing those nuisance code issues of properties and neighborhoods where a disproportionate amount of violence is taking place. And through Recreation and Parks, Director Rakowski will talk about their programming in a moment. The important takeaway is that we must find productive activities for our youth during these trying times. Employment, day camps. We're spending CARES dollars to expand those possibilities through other nonprofits, adding to our capacity as a community to serve our young people. And neighbors, our big enemy, public enemy number one, is illegal guns. We're moving forward with police reforms. We're addressing crime comprehensively from a community standpoint, but it's also critically important for the safety of our community that we enact stronger gun safety laws. Despite our efforts for common sense gun legislation, state and federal law limits what we can do locally. We need help from the state and federal levels of government to help us take illegal guns off the street and to put common sense safety laws like a real universal background check in place. Keeping guns out of the hands of criminals will make our community and our police officers safer. I call on our state legislators to take gun safety reform seriously and on the FOP to be a real advocate for common sense gun safety legislation that will make their members as well as the community they serve safer. And if state and federal officials will not take action, at least get out of our way so that we can do what we know will make our families and neighborhoods safer. We must hold those responsible for these senseless acts of violence accountable. This is our collective concern, and it will take each of us working together to stop the violence. I would now like to ask Chief Tom Quinlan to come forward to give an update.
Excuse me. Wait till this goes by. Thank you, Mayor. We are here to address our shared concerns, the police and the community, about the increasing number of violent crime that is occurring in our city. This includes gun violence that's leading to life-changing injuries and death. Overdoses are surging and especially impacted our teens, who are often the victim or the suspect in these incidents. Like 15-year-old Marcus Peters, who died Saturday at a house here in the Linden area. While officers were investigating his death, a approximately 100 other people gathered outside the scene tape and began a large fight in that area, and more shots were fired. These, right there with the police present, these are the type of incidents we need to stop. Just the night prior to that incident, a group of teens began firing from a car at a car in a bar parking lot at Pennsylvania Road. In this case, a police officer was struck by gunfire. We've seen a 77% increase in shots being fired blindly into residents with no regard for who may be struck inside. Since June 1st, there has been 5 teenagers who were the victims of homicide. 2 were 14, 2 were 15, and 1 was 17 years old. Each shot, while 14 others were critically injured by gunfire. 78% of our homicides are due to firearms. As of today, there are 67 homicides in the city and 469 felonious assaults. The felonious assaults represent an increase of 125%. Over the weekend, we had 4 officers violently assaulted and 4 police vehicle pursuits, all related to gun-related crimes. As a community, we should be more outraged. We should see the outrage and the demand more people get involved in helping solve these crimes, and families and mentors become more involved to prevent youth involved in criminal activity. We need witnesses to step up and be willing to become involved to help solve these crimes. We need responsible gun owners to secure weapons so people under 21 cannot access guns that are leading to these crimes. Are steps being taken? Yes. We need more, though. The steps being taken are we are working with the Violent Crimes Review Group. However, this typical protocols for the review group are being altered because of COVID. And what we normally would do in the public, we're having to do canvasses by phone and other means that are not as effective. So again, that's where we need more people to step up and do their part. We're implementing a youth services unit to better connect with youth and try to create relationships, not mistrust, so we can prevent, ideally, and solve crimes that have occurred. Safe Streets, again, due to COVID, has some restrictions on the practices we do. We're still able to work on the violent crime reduction, but the proactive engagement with the community, just out walking up to people on the street, is diminished because of COVID. Those where a lot of information is shared and a lot of crimes can be solved. Traffic stops have diminished because of COVID, as resources are directed towards those responses. Traffic stops are a useful tool in getting illegal guns off the street and making arrests on warrants that would prevent a crime from occurring before they occur. This needs to be a community effort, one where as a community we interact with the police, one where as a community we report illegal gun possession to the police, and be a cooperating witness when crimes occur, and become outraged at the violence and the overdose that are occurring in our streets and our residents. As a community, let's work together towards the shared goal of reducing violence in our community and saving lives. This is one area, despite all differences, we can certainly agree to come together. And I'd now like to introduce the president of the Columbus Urban League, President Stephanie Hightower.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Chief Quinlan, and thank you, Mayor Ginther, for the opportunity to be here as one of many community leaders who are saddened, heartbroken, but also sick and tired. Sick and tired of what we see happening in our neighborhoods, and in particularly saddened by our babies not having an opportunity to continue to be those opportunity youth that we know that they can be. Let me just start by saying this. We know that because of the pandemic, we know that because of economic disparities, we know that because of systematic racism, we know that because of lack of affordable housing, we know that because of neighborhoods, none of us should really be shocked by what we're seeing, because this is a result of those disparities now coming to light. All right, but what I'm not doing is condoning those. We have young people who have been, as someone told me earlier today, that they have cabin fever. We have young people who do not have economic opportunities such as jobs for the summer. We have young people who have not been in school for the past 3 to 4 months. Unfortunately, because of COVID, our rec centers are closed. So when you have all of these things come to a perfect storm, you end up with these kind of negative results that then spill over into our communities. But I will say this. I know that Mayor Ginther and the administration, because they are working with your Columbus Urban League to make sure that I Am My Brother's Keeper program is fully functioning and is being enhanced with additional dollars from COVID. You have a neighborhood violent intervention group that we work with the City of Columbus, with Recreation and Parks, who they are out talking with our young people at nights that are in the streets. My reports say that probably half of those gunshots this weekend and those shooters were members of gangs. How do we bring these young people to the table through jobs and opportunities? The mayor's office has done that in the past, and we're working closely with them now so that we can figure out how to continue those programs for young people in the summer. That's how we bring our folks together. That's how we bring our neighborhoods together. But this is about economics. Let's not be dispelled by that. And let's make sure that we don't change the narrative with the deaths of what's happening with George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor. Let's make sure that the narrative doesn't turn to the violence, but that those injustices that have happened have now spilling over in our streets and our neighborhoods in a negative way. And I look forward to working with our mayor, working with Recreation and Parks, working with neighborhoods to help us to continue to build the kind of bridges that are needed for our opportunity youth to be able to be what they actually know that they can be in this community. So thank you again, Mayor Ginther, for your leadership. I now will turn it over to one of our great partners with I Am My Brother's Keeper, Director Chris Sewell, who is the director of I Am My Brother's Keeper. He's a manager. He's in charge. That's all you need to know.
Thank you, President Hightower. My name is Chris Sewell, Program Manager for My Brother's Keeper, City of Columbus, Department of Neighborhoods. First and foremost, I too am grieving with families who have just lost a loved one. At the age of 7, I had my first experience with gun violence. When my cousin was killed, he was only 18. I know how it feels to lose a family member, which was a friend, brother, cousin, nephew, grandson, and son. When I lost my cousin, I remember growing up praying I make it to past the age of 18. There is no excuse why death should be normal for our youth. My Brother's Keeper was created to be a support system for our boys and young men of color, an ongoing commitment to ensure that young black and brown men have the tools to be successful. During COVID-19, we created a campaign called Stay Connected, which was geared towards making sure our youth weren't forgotten about. The Stay Connected campaign gave us the opportunity to bring local community partners, create engagement activities, and provide resources for boys and young men of color. Most recently, we partnered with the Columbus Metropolitan Club to hold a conversation about racism through the lens of young black men. To our youth and boys and men of color, you are loved. Your life matters. To the faith community, I ask that you pray for our youth and embrace them. To our community partners, we appreciate your ongoing commitment to help engage our boys and young men of color. To the City of Columbus, I ask, in the words of Deontay Johnson, don't lock your doors tighter, open your hearts wider and embrace our youth. In this unprecedented time, I ask the community, as adults, to be the visual representation that our youth needs to model. In this moment, we all bear the responsibility to make sure our youth grow up. They are our future doctors, lawyers, teachers, and leaders of this city. The only way that we get through this is together. Thank you. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Director Paul Rakowski of Recreation and Parks.
Thank you, Chris, and good afternoon, everyone. My name's Paul Rakowski, and I'm currently the Interim Director of the Columbus Recreation and Parks Department. And I'm humbled today to be a part of this afternoon's conversation with Mayor Ginther, Director Pettis, Chief Quinlan, Ms. Stephanie Hightower, and other community leaders. As a department, our mission is to connect the people of our community through the power of nature, wellness, and creativity. With nearly 400 parks, 29 community centers, 230 miles of regional trails, our vision is to ensure that every resident has access to all of our department's many services. Columbus Recreation and Parks continues to be an active partner in providing resources for Columbus's families and, most importantly, Columbus's youth. People often ask what our department is doing to help our young people grow and succeed. What is the department doing to ensure that young people have positive spaces and fulfilling recreation activities to keep active minds engaged and off the street? Well, today I'd like to share with you a few of those positive steps our department is taking to be part of the solution as it relates to this unprecedented summer that we're all experiencing. As a part of our Youth and Family Division, we have a job readiness program called APPS that was designed with an emphasis on training and mentorship to prepare teens and young adults to get, keep, and excel at their current or future job opportunities. This summer, we employed 125 young adults ages 14 to 23 with the goal of providing them with an enriching experience that has redeeming value for their future career paths. And in the midst of one of the most unique summers our city's experienced in generations, I'm proud to share that the youth are participating in our city's Mask Equal Kindness campaign, and they've helped distribute over 50,000 masks via the Health and Human Services Chamber here in the city of Columbus. And additionally, and most importantly, they continue to serve as recreation leaders within our department. As recreation professionals, we know positive activities can help keep youth on the right path. One young man who's experienced much success from our APPS program is LaRon. LaRon was being raised by his grandparents because both parents were incarcerated. After his grandfather passed away, he started taking a family member's car without permission and clearly was headed down the wrong road. His grandmother brought him to a local community center where he became involved in programs like our late-night basketball program. This experience meant so much to LaRon that he said he wanted to work for the city and help other youth. He now works for the department through the APPS program. In fact, he recently shared with his supervisor that his involvement with the Columbus Recreation and Parks Department has helped keep him on a positive path, which is a benefit for him in any career that he chooses to pursue in his future. In addition to our APPS programming, our department understands the vital role summer camps serve in our community. Our camps are a safe place for youth to engage in enriching activities that help develop their physical fitness, learning skills, and mental health. With guidance from Columbus Public Health and the Ohio Department of Health, we were able to offer a number of our planned summer camps to ensure as many children as possible could attend camps. This summer we have served thousands of kids and have facilitated more than 100 different camps. To prepare for this, the department looked at each camp individually to determine what modifications, if any, were needed to host the camps. Many camps were able to safely take place with modifications that allow for social distancing, including smaller group sizes and adjusted activities. We are in our second month of summer camps, and parents and staff are excited about the opportunity for campers to enjoy an enriching summer safely. And I would say there are still slots available in our camps throughout the summer. So parents and families that are interested, please go to the city's website, go to our website, and please sign up for camps, because we have further availability. And we do have scholarships as well for folks that can't afford the camps. Nonetheless, while Columbus Recreation Parks plays an essential role in our community, we are just one partner in a sea of community organizations that are looking to serve one of Columbus's most valuable populations, our youth. This month, with the leadership of Mayor Ginther and Council Pro Tem Elizabeth Brown, we announced that 40 nonprofits would be the recipients of $2 million in grant funds supported by the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security, or CARES Act, to expand summer camps and programming options for Columbus youth. The summer grant program aims to ease the challenges families currently face due to the public health emergency, addressing gaps in programming and ensuring youth are supported during this challenging time. Grant funds will support much-needed supplies that encourage social distancing, such as cleaning supplies, masks, and signage. Grant funds will also address the gap in programming due to COVID-related reductions in service. Programs include virtual and in-person summer camps that focus on school readiness, science and technology, arts and crafts, workforce development, financial literacy, and much, much more. Funds administered through the department will support over 25,000 Columbus youth and have been allocated to partners like the YMCA of Central Ohio, Kaleidoscope Youth Center, Ethiopian Tewahedo Social Services, Lincoln Theater Association, and many more. It is intrinsically important that we provide a space that fosters a safe and healthy environment, because we care about our kids and we care about the community that we serve. I'm happy that our department can serve as a vital partner as we work to address our youth needs in our community, and we've been able to do this with unwavering support by Mayor Ginther. He has been just fantastic in his support of our department. And now I think I'm going to turn it back over to Mayor Ginther to perhaps introduce Pastor.
Thank you, Director, and thank you all for joining us here today. And a critically important component to our community's response to this spike in violence is from our faith community. And I am incredibly encouraged by the leadership, the focus, the passion that Pastor Mike Young has and his congregation for the people of Columbus. And so I am so glad to have Pastor Mike Young with us here today and ask him to come forward and share a few words and a challenge and charge to the faith community to step up their supports and efforts to make sure that our young people are safe. Pastor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Giving honor to our directors, to our chief, to Mrs. Hightower, Mr. Sewell, and to all of those that are present. Just grateful to have the opportunity to lend my voice to this conversation today. I think, as all of us are aware, we're living in unprecedented times. We have found ourselves coming together as a community, trying to collectively keep ourselves safe in the midst of a global pandemic. We have found ourselves coming together as a community and rallying in a unified way to make sure that we have a community that is defined by being equal and equitable as we fight against injustice and systematic racism. But the reality is that as we look at the level of violence that has taken place, not just over this past weekend, but what appears to peek its ugly head from time to time, this violence cripples the very fabric and foundation of our community. And I believe that we find ourselves at a crossroads. I believe that we find ourselves at a point where we have to ask ourselves the very powerful, penetrating, and yet very relevant question: when is enough going to be enough? When is it going to be enough that we see black and brown men losing their lives before their time? Black and brown boys, black and brown girls losing their life before their time? What is it going to take for us, number one, to value the sanctity of life? I think what we need to ask ourselves is who is on the other end, as we're specifically talking about gun violence, who's on the other end of the gun? Many times it's a person's mother, it's a person's father, it's somebody's son, it's somebody's daughter, it's somebody's brother, it's somebody's sister. And I believe it's incredibly important for us to come to the realization and the revelation that life is valuable and life is precious. So I believe what it's going to take is, I believe it's going to take two things for us to get to the point where we catch the revelation of the value of life. Number one, I believe it's going to take a very clear vision. I believe it's going to take a very clear vision, and I believe as a representative of the faith community, I believe the faith community has the ability to help shape and mold that vision along with our public elected officials. I believe it should be a vision that we have a community that is defined by peace and prosperity and not pain and problems. I believe we need a community that is defined by kindness and not killing. I believe that we need a community that has a vision that is defined by love and not lethal force. And I believe that one of the things that's going to get us to that is not just a vision, but I also believe it's going to be hearing the voice of the victims. In Genesis chapter number 4 of the scriptures, it tells us about the story of Cain and Abel. And in the story of Cain and Abel, what happens is there is one brother, Cain, who kills his brother Abel. And the Bible says that when Abel was killed, it said that the blood of Abel, the voice of it cried from the ground. And I believe here, as we stand here in 2020, I believe that the blood of the voice of victims who have been victims of gun violence should be crying to us today. And I believe it's time for us to come together collectively as a community. And I believe we need to say enough is enough. I want my 17-year-old daughter to have a future that is bright. I want my 15-year-old son to have a future that is bright. I want my 8-year-old son to have a future that is bright. I want the young boys and the young girls in the congregation that I pastor, in the community that I live in, to have a future that is bright. So family, let's come together and let's cast vision together. Let's hear the voice of the victims together, and let us bring real change, not just to the city of Columbus, but across this nation, and let's do it together. Let us pray. Father, we come before your presence today, God, according to your word, that said, if my people who are called by my name would humble themselves and pray and seek your face and turn from our wicked ways, you said then you would hear from heaven on high, you would forgive sins, and you would heal the land. Father, we pray today that you'll bring healing to our land. We pray, Father, that you'll bring healing in the form of natural healing in the midst of this pandemic. Father, we pray that you'll bring healing, God, as it relates, Lord God, to equity, Lord God, and equality as we're dealing with racial, Lord God, injustice. And Father, we pray that you bring healing, God, as it comes in the form of violence, Lord God, and young people, Lord, of all ages and demographics losing their lives. Father, we pray, Lord God, that you'll bring unity to our city like never before. Father God, I pray for our mayor and I pray for our elected officials, Lord God, that Father God, you'll give them the strength and the wisdom, Lord God, give them the vision, Lord God, to lead us, Lord God, to a city that is defined by peace and prosperity. Lord, we give you praise in advance for the things you're going to do right here in the city of Columbus. Father, we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Happy to take any questions or have other speakers step forward if you have specific questions. Tom?
Mayor, you read a lot of the social media and our websites, media websites. A lot of people, viewers, want to associate this violence spike over the weekend with either the Black Lives Matter movement, protesting, or even to police, the perception that police have taken a hands-off approach to protest. Are these equivocal at all? Does one lead to the other at all?
I'll have the Director-in-Chief speak to that. There's no information. There is no evidence that connects this spike in violence with any of the BLM protests and justice and reform efforts that we've seen taking place. I'll let the Director-in-Chief speak to any particular circumstances, but I'm not aware of any. And to reinforce what I said earlier, Tom, this is happening across the country. You look at other cities that, particularly in June and the beginning part of July, you've seen a dramatic increase in shootings, both in larger cities and then mid-sized cities like Columbus. And so it isn't unique to Columbus, but we are responsible for how our community responds to the spike in violence, and that's what today's call to action is all about. Director or Chief, any additional details about the connection to any of the protests or anything?
Thank you for your question. From what we're seeing internally as we review these cases all the time, the sad truth of it is violence is occurring in our city every year. This year it's higher. We've had other years where we've had higher rates with no riots or no COVID. We are seeing the fact that because of the pandemic, there are more people that have less other parks and recs and park and other places to go to be constructive with the time they spend. We're also seeing problems with gun violence continue. And it's kind of like the overdose deaths. The overdose deaths, I know there's a big push to be more progressive about who is incarcerated. The reality is many people that get arrested, their only chance to have an intervention or have some treatment is while they're incarcerated. By not having people incarcerated, it can be more people who overdose. And we've seen that in these recent surges. And the same thing can be true about gun violence. With fewer people getting charged with lower level, where they become in front of a court and go through treatment plans and probations and other, non-incarceration type things that courts can do, the police can only do so much. So I think that's part of it. It's not related to the Black Lives Matter movement or to the protests. It's more related to what we're seeing as a community with gun violence and more time in your hands and less options that we can provide the public and people who are charged with a crime to have some type of court intervention in their life.
Any comments, Director? No, I think to get straight to the point, Tom, it's more, what COVID's done is it's led to obviously the public health crisis, but then the economic crisis. Many people have lost their jobs. They've been displaced. We had there are a huge number of evictions that are still pending for folks. We put resources from the CARES Act towards that, but we have a lot of families in crisis right now, and then we have a lot of young people who aren't in the classroom and maybe in the structured summer camps and summer youth employment that we would have, because some of our largest employers are all working remotely. So it's this cumulative effect and impact that COVID is having on the quality of life, but you're seeing that again in cities across the country. Any other questions from the press? Yes?
I would like to see here in Columbus, Franklin County, more rehabilitation for the people that are on drugs. More prevention, easier to get into the
So the question's about additional treatment, and it couldn't agree with you more. And I've been in conversations with Erica Clark Jones, who heads up ADAMH, our alcohol, drug, and mental health organization, about expanding those things, because you're absolutely correct. Not just gangs, but drugs and other things, and the connection between some of the violence we're seeing out here is real. And we know that addiction and these overdoses are real and can only be ultimately dealt with treatment and rehabilitation. Appreciate your question. Yes, Liz.
Mayor, we were in a press conference about 3 weeks ago after a violent weekend, and you talked about your summer safety initiative and the APS program. What are you going to do so that we're not here at another press conference this next weekend or in 3 weeks?
Well, we're going to continue to expand partnerships, as Director Rakowski talked about today. We knew that there were certain limits on our offerings as a department, just based on facilities and the amount of spacing and so forth. So one of the things that we announced we were looking at, that we have since taken action on, is the awarding of these grant dollars to external partners, whether it's the Y, Boys and Girls Club, different trusted community partners, to expand those summer youth offerings to reach more young people this summer. We've enhanced our partnership with Stephanie Hightower has talked about since that last announcement with Columbus Urban League and our APPS program and the work of My Brother's Keeper to particularly target young men of color that we know are disproportionately represented both on the victim side but also on the side of violence here recently. So those are a couple of things we've done since then, and we're continuing to look at other options and things that we can be doing to deal with gun violence. Any other questions? Follow up, Lacey?
Yeah, I have a question for the chief.
Yes, Chief.
Chief, are you concerned about the safety of your officers? You have the man who rammed into the squad car, the officer who was shot. Any thoughts on those parking incidents? Are you concerned about that at all?
Well, naturally, I'm concerned. The investigation right now has not been conclusive that there's any targeting. You know, we had a tragedy this month, July 4th in Toledo. Here's an officer just called to a Home Depot lot on a disturbance. Has a man walking away from him, just says, "Sir, come here." That's it. "Sir, come here." Turn around and is shot and dies. So that's how fast things can happen in this line of work. And that's why I ask for the community to work with us and be patient with police. I hear the public loud and clear about concerns of how police officers interact with the community, and we are making serious reforms, and we're changing our training protocols and our policies and practices, but there's still a concern by officers that are the person that is their life on the line that has to make those instantaneous decisions, and they always try to get it right. It's not a perfect world. You're dealing with imperfect people in an imperfect circumstance without full information. And that's where sometimes things can go wrong. That's why officers are concerned for their safety. I'm concerned for their safety over COVID. We have officers who cannot always wear a mask in an operational situation and can always be safe and going into people's homes and interact with people. So yes, I'm concerned about our officers. I've had conversations with the mayor. He's very concerned about our officers, the officers that have been injured and stuff. We've both reached out to them and spoken with them. We are very concerned about our officers, and we'll do everything we can to make sure our officers are safe, but do it in a way that matches the reform that we need to do as well.
Yes. Not necessarily buying back, but we're open to the possibilities and options that are out there. And we've been organizing folks around the community for the better part of a year and working on these issues. A lot of buybacks haven't shown a whole lot of promise and results in the past. I know we've done them here. They've been done in other cities. We think the best way to reduce gun violence is keeping the guns out of criminals and those that are involved in intimate partner and family violence. Very basic, common sense, red flag laws that 90% of people support, overwhelmingly supported by Republicans and Democrats. You know, that's common sense. Banning assault weapons. There is no need for an AR-15 or an AK-47 for a person to defend themselves and their family. But these are the places that the State House and Congress stand in our way. They tie our hands. They don't only say we don't have the guts to take on the NRA and to make these changes. We're going to prohibit you. We're going to preempt you from doing what you and the chief and Stephanie Hightower and Chris, Director Pettis, all of us know is the right thing to do because they don't have the guts to take on the NRA. Well, get out of the way and let us take them on. Because we believe that the proliferation of illegal guns on the streets of Columbus and cities across this country are one of the #1 contributors and drivers of violence. We'll stick around for any one-on-ones. Thanks, everybody.
Mayor Andrew Ginther wrapping up a news conference today talking about, of course, the violence in Columbus over the weekend. Again, he talked about the number of shootings, 10 shootings. 8 people injured, 3 people killed, and they were all teenagers, juveniles.
Now with 5 teenagers dead since the beginning of June, and we always see spikes in shootings during the summer months.
Right.
Now there's complications to that as well.
They talked about some of the programs, some of the outlets for kids, for teenagers this time of year, the programs at the parks and recreation centers, the programs at day camps. That's unavailable because of COVID.
Right.
And he's calling on lawmakers in the state of Ohio to do something about common sense laws.
So in
gun laws.
gathering several people together, where do we move from here is the next question. Obviously, we will continue to follow that. We'll do it at the top of the hour.
We'll see you at 4 o'clock. Darlene Hill, Brad Johansson, back now to Ellen.